Bellum South, Camptown Races, My Old Kentucky Home, Old Folks at Home.
It's a lot of nostalgia. In minstrelsy, they sell this version of the American South, like donkeys praising their masters. Old Uncle Tom who wishes he was back home in the old South.
That's always been so interesting to me, the fascination that white cultures here have had with black culture. On the one hand, it's like the language that is used is so negative. On the other hand, there's just like, but the music, but the dance, it's so cool.
The only source of income for a professional songwriter like Foster was the royalties from sales of sheet music. His songs were immensely popular, but because of lax copyright laws, when he died in New York City's Bellevue Hospital in 1864 at age 37, Foster was virtually penniless. Many other songs considered quintessentially Southern and rural, in fact, came from northern urban sources. Carry Me Back to Old Virginia was written by James A. Bland, a college-educated African-American born in Flushing, New York. Dixie, played at the inauguration of Jefferson Davis in Alabama, was credited to Daniel Decatur Emmett of Ohio.
Seafood.
By the 1920s, as minstrel shows were fading, Ralph Peer recorded Emmett Miller, still appearing in blackface, singing Lovesick Blues, to which he added a distinctive yodeling break. Like so much other music of the time, it drew deeply from so-called race music, even if that music was performed almost exclusively by whites, most of them Southerners.
The South itself is a place of black and white Southerners. I mean, there's no white South. It's not Scandinavian. It is a place where black and white people live, cheek by jowl, as we say. And the influences go back and forth.
You have the cultures coming together. And whenever you have these contradictions together in the South, you have a lot of the opposites to create a richness.
I think that friction is a good way to look at the music because of this rub between white and black. Country music comes from the South because this is where slavery happened.
The rub is people mixing. It starts going back and forth, and it becomes this beautiful mix of cultures. They met and mingled and became this edge, but the heart spoke musically to each other. And then somebody from up here says, oh, we can't have that. You guys can't be doing stuff together. That's what's happening.
By the 1920s, slavery had been abolished for more than half a century, but segregation was still rigidly enforced in every aspect of life, except in the music that kept crossing the racial divide.
Through the ages, blacks imitating whites, imitating blacks, imitating whites. You have the banjo, which comes from Africa, and you have the fiddle, which comes from the British Isles and from Europe. And when they meet in the American South, and that's the Big Bang.
African-American style was embedded in country music from the very beginning of its commercial history. You can't conceive of this music existing without this African-American infusion. But as the music had developed professionally, too often African-Americans were forgotten.
Country music wasn't called that yet, but it was music of the country. It was a combination of the Irish, the recently freed slaves, bringing the banjo into the world, the Spanish effects of the vaqueros down in Texas, the Germans bringing over the oompa of polka music